Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. Today I have a little log cabin love. We're going to talk about Midnight Moon, Salvages. I'm going to show you the quilt that I'm going to make. And I got an update for you. So first of all, let's do the log cabin love because that's on our calendar. I think they are a classic quilt and I know a lot of you have made log cabins. So here's one of mine. I've made a few, not as many as I thought I might have, but I've made a few. And this is one of them, which has a really large center block and then the log cabins around it. And on the back, I did two extra blocks, and so that was fun to do. I love this quilt. It's quilted in a classic Baptist fan. So I think you can see it there, the Baptist fan quilting, and that's just I think that's a classic way for the for the log cabin block. So today what I want you to do is show me your log cabin quilts over at our community page, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, or you can just describe it here in the comments at YouTube. Just tell me about your log cabin quilt. If you've made one, never made one, want to make one. It'd be interesting to do like a log cabin sort of series or something like that. I've actually not worked in series for a long time. I used to do that periodically, sort of work a theme and then, make, half a dozen, 8 or so quilts. So that might be interesting someday. I'll put it on my long list of things I want to do. Okay, let's talk about Midnight Moon. We're on week 3. Here are the 2 blocks for week 3. I have a little tip for you that I did while working on some blocks, so let me show you that. I had to do some quality control and these 4 did not pass. So you can see right here, when I press this, it has an edge that's not lifted over and it's also off right here at the top. You might not be able to see that as well. Same with this one at the top and on this side. They're all like that. So I didn't get straight on. I was sewing late at night and that's just what happens if I'm sewing late at night. I can't really see quite as well. And so now all I'm going to do is just come along on these 4 and pop off the square because it's not been trimmed or anything. So I'm good. All I have to do is unpick it super quick and then pull it off and I will sew those 4 back on. I did get the pinwheel geese done. So I have the pinwheel geese. Look how sweet that is in the little block. And then here's the other 2 sizes. So fun. So I also then did my process of cutting everything first, which now I have, what's this one called? The Hidden Star. So I have the Hidden Star block ready to go. So this is working fantastic. It is working so fantastic. I will put up, here's all the others from week 1 and week 2, and I really want to do a frame around some of them. I can't wait to try that because I just want to see how it looks. So I might try to squeeze in a frame. Look at that. They look so fantastic. Okay, let me give you a little tip. So like cutting, when you're cutting, definitely be on your A game. When you're trimming, definitely be on your A game because you don't want to do all that work and then trim something to the wrong size. I also highly recommend you trim as you build units. So like for the hidden wells, you end up taking this orange and it becomes the center of the one unit by doing sew and flips. But measure it. Always measure it. When I was doing these geese here, when I built this unit with the strip and the 3 little geese, I measured this unit to be sure it was the right size. And check when you're reading those measurements, look carefully because there's a lot of 3/4, 1/8, 4/8, 5/8. There's those kind of markings for this block, those kind of measurement markings. So be sure that, because I want to measure this and this unit here. I want to measure this 1/4 unit and it was way too small. And I kept thinking, how can it be that small? All of them. I thought, and then I realized it was actually, I should have been measuring on the 1/4 instead of the 1/2 marker. So that's when I thought, I need to remind everybody because it is super important to really pay attention to the markings for this particular project. Okay, let's talk about selvages now. So after I finished taping yesterday and my friend came and picked up some things, I was looking at the containers. Well, actually before she came, I was looking at these containers and I thought, you know, I emptied them from the Christmas fabric. I thought, you know what, I am going to just keep these that got emptied because I am going to put those selvages in it, the ones that you've been sending me, and I'm going to show you the quilt that I'm going to make. So first, let's just look at the fabric that you've sent me. The selvages, the edges of the fabrics. That is what this is. This is one of the pieces from the Ukrainian quilt that I'm doing. So this is a selvage. I like to have, here, let me just open it up, because the part I'm going to use is just where the words and the dots are. And I need to also have some fabric above it. So any part that's white, I will use very little of this. I want to only have words, dots, and also some of this fabric showing. So but I'm not going to sort through this in advance of what you gave me. I'll just use the parts I can as I start working on it. So I have quite a few boxes. Let me just show you. So this box here is full. This is pretty much full. This is a pretty big box. It has those this came with the card box in it. See this guy? So this is the size of that, full of selvages, you know, so it's at least 6 inches tall. It's about 6 by 8. So I have, that is one. And then I have one of the specialty boxes that came a couple years ago. I kept it because it's red, everything red. This was one of the surprise mystery boxes. It's not quite full. This is the one I'm actually using to put things in, but it is getting very full. Then I have one of the smaller size of the boxes, and then I have the two things that just came recently. This one was totally packed, and then I have another shipping box. So what I want to do, oh wait, and I have this over here. Oh, there we go. And I have this, which is totally full. So these are all the selvages that you have sent me and that I have collected of mine. So what I am going to do is take the two containers that I have, which is this smaller one, which won't fit a ton because that's probably about the size of one of the red boxes. So I want to get it out of the two mailers that just came, or came, you know, the mailing box and the candy box. But then I also have this one. So I want to offload some of the, because that one's bigger. I want to offload some from these red boxes because the red boxes sit up here on the shelf, and that way I can get to them easily. You know, I can just grab it down and put the stuff in it. These will go up on the upper shelf until I really work on the quilt, really get started on it. So what quilt am I going to make? There is a quilt that designer Karen Griska put out many years ago, a lot of years ago, maybe 10 years ago. It is called the Red Zinger. This Red Zinger is the quilt that I am going to make with all of these edges. You can purchase her pattern. The link is down below in the description box if you love this quilt. She did this quilt on her blog, and then she later had it published in a magazine, and then after that she made a pattern out of it. And it is, I've seen it done in all different color backgrounds, but red, everything red, I have to have a red zinger. You can't be a red zinger without it being red. So that is the quilt that I'm going to do. I will probably start it sometime this year, not for a few more months. Well, even make, unless I get really motivated, make one test block, but that is what I'm going to do. So today I need to open up a couple of these containers and put them in here. So like for this one, for this container here, which is, you know, pretty easy to just get these guys on out of here and put them inside. So I'm not trying to sort them or do anything like that right now. All of that is just too much, you know, just too much work. So, but what I want to do is get this box and the postal box here. Let me just grab the postal box. So that one has a bunch in it, so I need to get all of these out. of their, this one, some of these were sent in bags. So I'm going to get all of those into here and then into the larger one, so that these two are filled up, and I can empty these, like the smaller Jolly box, which sits on the top of my shelf. So it's the easiest one for me to get to be the current box I put things in. So I want to get that one emptied. It feels good to think about it and have, you know, sort of a plan. And I know what the quilt is, so really now it's just making a test block, so I can kind of get a feel for how much fabric a test block uses, and whether my concept of using very little white space, whether I like the look of that. And when I go through that, I will share it with you. I will do it here with you and show you the journey. Because that's what I'm all about. It's like show you what I'm doing all the time with the quilting. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these up. So I switched them all over. Let me show you where I am and what I got in them. So here are the two Christmas bins or boxes. So this one is the small one, so it is totally full. I can put the lid on that. Yeah, it fits. Shove that down. This box is the medium size. Remember, my Christmas stuff is in the larger one. Plus I had this wonderful note from, I think it was from Janice, where she sent me this super great piece of fabric that I actually did some research on. She's a graphic artist, and this was a really, really neat piece of fabric. So I'm so nice of her to be able to send that to me for mine. It was printed in 1953. Yeah, isn't that cool? So that's staying on the top, so I can find that again. And I've jammed this pretty good. This is pretty full. Because a lot of you are sending me things in the envelopes and they're nicely folded, they go in here really well. They're not, you know, you've been really good about sending it tidy like this. You know, so, you know, fold it up nice. I just unfolded that one, but fold it up nice. That way I'm not getting just a bag of jumbles. And if you're saving these, this is going to fit in here so much better than if you're just throwing a bunch of jumbled stuff in there. So just a professional tip for you. Follow my channel for more tips like this. Okay, so over here on the chair now, these two are totally full of selvages, and is that it? Yeah, no, I have. So it was interesting how much they fit, you know, those two would fit. Now this is this bigger box, which is from the stitch card. So this is a really good size box, and I still have room in here now. So it is maybe 2/3. I might just shuffle this around some, try to get it flat, so I can just start, you know, laying things, you know, tidy like this. You know, this is fairly tidy. They're flat. That's the big point. You just don't want to just have a piece. Here, I'll show you. You don't want to do this. You don't just want to like dump it in here like that, because they take up so much more room that way. If you just take a second and lay them flat, you can get so much more in your container. Okay, this is going to go back on the white case over there, which means, what did I empty? I'll put this over here for now. I emptied the small Jolly box, the medium one, the candy box, the mailing box, the mailer, and my sewing tin. So this is free now for something else. That is really nice. So that one's empty. So these two will be recycled, the candy box and the mailer. And I will put these back up on top with this one. So these three will get stacked again, you know, size-wise, and I can start filling them. So these are the easiest to get to now, because I keep them right here in my space, so that as I'm working, or if you send me some, I can just reach up there and put it in. And if it's close, you're going to do it, and you're going to do it nicely. It's not going to be like such a mess, or, you know, be crazy, and, you know, you have to go hunt for that bag that you've put it in. If you just have some sort of small box like this, that once you fill it, then you can maybe move it to the bigger container. I'm finding that that works really well. So I'm very excited. Let me show you again. The red zinger by Kathy Grifka, and by Karen Grifka, I'm sorry. So the red zinger is the quilt I will create with all of these salvages, and I will start it this year. I just don't know when. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited to have all of those in the containers and really get them consolidated like that, because now I have a really clear vision of how much I have. And then up here are the red containers. So these are the 3 I was just showing you. So this one has some stuff in it, and the other 2 are empty, so that while I'm working, it's just very easy to go up there and grab it and put it in, rather than go in the other room and find those boxes. So that is going to work really well. Okay, the last update is that for Quilts for Ukraine, Becky in Poland, which is where I gave you one of the addresses you can send your quilt if you wanted to send it directly to Becky, who lives in Poland. She and her family, her husband works there. They've lived there for a very long time. She does a lot of charity work there. And so Becky has been working on helping the Ukrainian refugees since almost day one, from where they live. And she said that yes, you could send quilts directly to her. So they have finally started to arrive. The first grouping arrived, and Becky just texted me and told me that she wrote a blog post so that you could see that first grouping come in, because she says she's pretty sure all of them are from our community here, because we're the only ones that she gave the address to. So it is from us. And they were from the US and from some other countries, and so she listed it out, and she described a bit about the process of picking up the packages in Poland, because they have to go through customs and they all come in different ways. Some have to have more paperwork filled out by her, which is more work for her, which I feel bad for her, but she's trying to collect that up, so she only has to fill out the forms, you know, like not singly, but like a group of them, and then pick up the group of packages, because otherwise it's too time consuming if she were to run to the post office for every single one that needed a sheet. So she's kind of consolidating all that, and she talks about it. So the link to her article is down below, so that you can go see that first group from those of you who sent directly to Poland. The quilts are arriving, so that is so very exciting. All right, Midnight Moon. This week 3 is going to be fun. I'm excited to try to get a few borders on so that I can show you next Saturday. And if you have a log cabin quilt, be sure to show it today, because we'd like to see all the log cabins. I'll hold it up again. All the log cabin quilts, right? Okay, my friend. I love you. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.